Hey guys, Deathletter Magic here, and good news everyone, I managed to stop throwing up long enough to sit down and make a video. Got some bad food unfortunately, which I'll take that over like actually having the flu anytime. You might be thinking, okay, whose bad food did you eat on Thanksgiving? My family's doing Thanksgiving tomorrow. Thanks, my sister-in-law's family and their awesome scheduling. Anyway, the internet is still buzzing with everybody's takes on the new Secret Lair product. Because people assumed it would either be like a cube, like a blind box, a mixed thing kind of to go with Chaos Draft, or it would just be straight up customized singles, or it would be like a loot box with all kinds of, accessories, sleeves, counters, that kind of stuff. Everybody knew it was one of the three, so a lot of people kind of had this in their minds. So now that we know what it is, some people are saying it's best product ever. Some people are just, it's not for me, I don't care. I have no opinion because I'm not going to buy it, whatever. And some people are saying it's the worst product ever. So who's right? Who has the most evidence? Who's got the most logical arguments? The answer is, honestly, in most cases, everybody's right. Because it depends who you're talking about and like what context, what point of view you're coming from. And I don't mean to be like on the fence or say everybody's right just for the sake of civility. I mean that this product very much harms certain people and very much helps other people. So if you say it's terrible because, or you say it's awesome because, you both might be right. It's just people have different priorities and work in different industries. They either work at a local gaming store or they don't work anywhere and they just play the game. That's obviously a big difference. So to break it down, a lot of people have a very, very positive reaction to this because they're taking cards that were like $100, $60, $30, and they're making them cost an exact predictable price, if not lower. So they're either going to be worth what they're selling them for, divided out amongst them, or less because so many are going to flood the market. I mean, the way they're doing it, they quite literally cannot underprint this product. It's print to demand. It's pre-print their best guess mixed with print to demand second wave guaranteed, which means if they get 10,000 orders, they're going to make 10,000. Now, I will say I am worried that the number of people buying it will not reflect the actual demand and not enough will get ordered, printed, and thrown onto the market. So the card price might go right back up within, a month or two. It's very possible. I mean, when you look at standard products and you count how many boxes were printed with the last numbers that we know, which are like a couple years ago, unfortunately, just to throw out a random number of like one given rare, it might have had, maybe 50 to 100,000 copies printed. I forget what the number works out to, but let's just say there was a hot card from like Born of the Gods. And so we know how many exist in the market, and it's not enough because we'll say the card's like 15, 20 bucks, and that's too high. If you need 4, oh my gosh, but if you need 1 for your commander deck, that's still pretty dang high. So now here comes this for, $29.99, you can get like 8 cards or something, and that's one of them. So clearly the card is going to fall in price. Except what if only 5,000 of them get ordered? Well, you only increased the availability by 10%, except you didn't. It's not like they all went to Card Kingdom. These 10,000 went to private individuals one at a time, and they ordered it because they want it. People are not ordering these to resell them, not on the whole. So a tiny amount are going to investors that are going to hold them for a couple months, hope that they go up and sell them, and they aren't going to sell them if they don't go up, unless they just want to get off that investment, basically. Now let's compare that to the old system of making cards cheaper with reprints, the Masters sets. Now you guys know, sets like Ultimate Masters, the number of them, the sheer number that went out was insane. It was completely insane. I don't know the print volumes, otherwise I would run like the rarity distributions and stuff, but you could take a $50 card from a set from like 15 years ago where honestly probably 10,000 of the card exists because the print volumes were so much lower back then. And so many of them have been lost or, destroyed or whatever. We could be really getting down there. Well, then if it goes back far enough to be effectively pre-internet, not literally, but like before cards were heavily sold on the internet, nobody has them. Like the big single sellers do not have them, so they price them way high because there's just not enough to go around. So then you drop something that probably prints 100,000 to 1,000,000 boxes, somewhere probably in that range. You're going to get a couple more copies of the card. Now, cards like Birds of Paradise, Tarmogoyf, they have proven that there is not an amount that they can reasonably print that will suppress the price on that card. Too many people want those two. Fetch lands is just about the same thing. But for other cards where they just obliterate the price, especially ones that had only been printed once in the past and distantly in the past, Master Set will come in and just take a $20 card, make it a $2 card virtually permanently by just flooding the market with copies of that card. So this one, I mean, I'd almost compare this to From the Vault, not just because it pretty much is the same product, but because it looks pretty low volume. I mean, I have no idea. Wizards has admitted they have no idea how well this is going to sell. They could be off by a factor of 10. But I mean, just think about it. If only 1,000 sell, wow, that's nothing. And like I said, like probably 90% of them are not going to hit the market in the next year. So they will do nothing for the supply end and do nothing to drop the price. So that's why everybody's saying, well, this is such a wonderful product because it makes cards affordable and makes the game playable for people. They're right, but they're also wrong. It's a very, very one-time temporary Band-Aid for the price. I think that the print volumes on all of these will not be high enough to suppress the price on any of the cards in it. There's one or two where I think it'll do some damage because there's just so few of them going around. It's such an old card, only printed once. But some of the other like staple cards and popular cards that have been printed a couple times, because a ton of these cards were in one or more master sets recently. Yeah, the price has been creeping up in the last 2 years, but like, this isn't going to do it. This isn't enough cards. It's just not. So it makes the cards more affordable and just slashes the price across the board so that if you need that card for your deck, you can order it direct from Wizards. There it is. You pay exactly one price. There's no, oh, I'm going to open till I get it. Maybe I pull it, maybe I don't. But that affordability and discount only extends to literally that person that day buying it. Past that, price is going to go right back up. That's what I'm afraid of. So it might not be as good for affordability of the game and accessibility of the different formats. I mean, that's what I'm concerned about. Like, financial accessibility of Modern has improved, but it's still crap. If people can't afford to play Magic the Gathering, they're just not going to. That's not good. You need to suppress these prices. You can't have them creep up year after year after year. I know it's a wonderful, lovely investment for people, but as much as people say, I spent $1,200 on this deck and now they reprinted everything in it and now it's worth $600, that's not fair. When were you going to sell that deck? We all know you weren't going to. You weren't going to break apart that deck and sell it. You're playing with it. You play with it every week. Are you kidding me? It's only a loss when you sell it, and you were never going to sell it. So people like to complain, but yeah, that's what it is. It's the same as like people's IRAs when the housing market collapsed. It's only a loss when you sell it. If you're not going to retire in the next 5 years, it does nothing to you. Don't sell it. Wait for the value to go back up. But beyond that, I mean, even if the price goes down forever of a card or a deck because like it's only been printed once and then they just flood 100,000 copies onto the market, good. You want people to play with, right? Like, nobody said when you buy a deck, this is a guaranteed investment and you're guaranteed to get your money out of it or higher every year from now, no matter when you sell it. Which, once again, you will not. The number one thing you want to do with an assembled Modern deck is have enough people to play Modern with. And guess what? If it gets more and more and more expensive every year, you aren't going to. So accessibility is number one, and a very distant number two is like a mental picture in people's mind that they can at least recover some, if not all, if not an increased amount of value after they buy the cards because they're expensive. People like that little mental safety blanket, even if it's not real and they're never going to sell it. They want to feel warm and cozy. Ooh, I have something worth this much. And plus, if somebody like gets a giant medical bill or something, or something happens and they're like, okay, now I'm selling my Modern deck. This is more important. Okay, I get that. So, hey, this reprint product should make both of those people happy because this is a very short-term, like I said, basically one-day suppression of the single price. And as soon as it's cut off and people realize, wow, none of these are floating around, right back up to the price it was before. Although they did just get rid of X amount of demand for the card because people now have the card. So it's going to take a while for the price to go back up, but it's usually based mostly on availability, then kind of secondarily on the amount of demand for it. Like if Card Kingdom has 20 copies of a card left and that's it, it doesn't really matter when the last time somebody asked for that card was, they're going to mark it up because, you know, what if somebody buys 8 at a time all of a sudden? So hooray, affordability and accessibility, and then hooray, this doesn't really affect the price of your cards that much if you wait a couple months. Everybody wins, right? Not the single sellers and not your local gaming store because theirs get devalued and that's it. They are not going to sell that card for a long time, and if the price permanently goes down 20% over the next 2 years, then they just lost 20%. Now, you might be thinking, yeah, but that's every reprint. Some stuff gets reprinted, deal with it. Those go down, other cards go up, and the overall trend must be upward. Otherwise, you'd be out of business. No, it doesn't work that way. So think about Ultimate Masters, the last one that they did. So there was so much value crammed into that it devalued almost every card in it. Which is good, that's the point. Some of those cards were getting out of control. People could not afford to buy them and play Commander in Modern. So as soon as Ultimate Masters came out, can you imagine how many, in all likelihood, millions of dollars Channel Fireball lost overnight? Like literally when the spoilers come out, the card drops. So they're sitting on this like warehouse-sized inventory, I would assume, of singles that's worth, however many millions of dollars, and boom, here comes a giant chunk out of it. The value just disappeared into thin air. I mean, they got buy list stuff. They could have lost more than the margin on the buy list, let alone, the storage costs, the staff fees, the postage to sell it. They just took a loss on every card on the damn list. How can they survive that? Oh, that's right. They also sell Ultimate Masters. They get in that product, and then they sell it. You know how many sealed boxes they probably sold of it? Oh my God, I don't even know. Like pallets. Thousands, I would think. Absolute king, czar, emperor, asshole of eBay, you know exactly who I'm talking about, got 5,000 boxes of the last Master set that I paid attention to. It might have been closer to 10 with the pre-order numbers. So I'm just saying, Channel Fireball and, Card Kingdom, they might be getting 5-10 times that. I mean, they probably at least get matching that. It would be quite unfair if they didn't. So, oh, boo-hoo, let me, wipe my tears with $100 bills as this horrible product comes out and destroys millions of dollars of our inventory, and then you turn around and make the same or more on the product that caused the problem. That's why reprints in master sets worked. They actually made the product more affordable, available, approachable, whatever, in the future to everybody because of the sheer volumes of it, because people bought them because they were worth it. Minus Iconic and Masters 25. Debatably eternal, but look at that one now. So basically it was a trade-off and it worked. Well, you can clearly see what's going wrong with this one now. They aren't going to stores, they aren't going to distributors, they are going directly to individuals. So the cards go straight to the people who want them, so there goes demand out the window. That's every single one of those is a lost sale if the person were to pick up the card instead from one of these, mega single sellers. The cards do get devalued, but like I said, it's debatable whether it'll be like a durable, persistent price drop, because I don't think it will. But on at least some of the cards, it will. I mean, there's some that were printed, like I said, so few, so long ago, their price permanently went down because of this product. And what does, Channel Fireball and all the other big ones get out of this? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. They don't get to sell it. They don't get to touch it. There's no margin, nothing. They can buy it for retail and try to resell it higher or something. That's not going to work. That's not how distribution works. Even if they got every single employee there and all of their families to smurf like 1,000 of these, like I said, you're buying them at retail along with everybody else. That does not work. I was paying like $142 a box for EMA. And remember, I could sell those for like $200 to $300 depending upon, which release and when we're talking. So whether I sell them sealed or open them up, I mean, that's my margin. That's my starting point. Now we're talking. If I went and picked them up for MSRP, then we have a problem. So even if Channel Fireball pulled a fast one and tried to pick up several hundred to 1,000 copies of these, 10 per person at a time and distribute it, they're overpaying anyway. It wouldn't work. Even if the cards rebound a little bit or they do the second wave and it's still not enough and people want them later, that's too much time and that's still not good enough of a margin. So they're just getting skipped by this. So cards are getting devalued and demand is for sure disappearing. They're losing customers, they're losing value, and what do they get out of it? Nothing. So for people saying that bypassing the local gaming store and the giant single sellers online is very detrimental, that is why they're saying it. So yes, this product is a very bad thing, a very bad direction to go in the distribution of products. And plus, honestly, I mean, I use single sellers online, but the real business you should be concerned about going out of business is your local gaming store, and they don't even get to touch this or sell it in any way. And that's money going into the Magic the Gathering budget for people that goes straight to Wizards. And since people have a finite amount of money, that means that it goes away from the local gaming store. It's one less, booster. Good Lord, it's like 15 less boosters that they're buying. Maybe it's an entire box less that they're buying. The only trade-off is now that they have the cards in need, maybe they'll build a deck and show up to alternate events with Modern and Commander at all now, and maybe there's an entry fee. Maybe now if they build more decks, now that they ordered these cards, they'll buy more sleeves. But like I said, people only have so much money to spend. So honestly, I think this is quite bad overall to everybody in the supply chain here. So the only people this really benefits is the players, but then if the people who are losing out are the giant online sellers and your local gaming stores, not to mention the distributors themselves, well, it doesn't benefit the player at the end of the day if their store closes. So I would say, which one's worse, which one wins out. I'd say this is a bad product because of what it's doing to the stores and the single sellers. I think that that's the overriding factor when it comes down to voting. Is this a good thing or a bad thing overall? It tips the scales towards bad. And now remember, everything is theoretical and estimated. And I mean, keep in mind, I know what I'm talking about. I sold, at least $500,000 worth of like Magic products in the last couple of years. I've sold them sealed. I've sold them singles. I've looked what happens over time. I followed this stuff. When I predict what's going to happen, it's an informed prediction. Well, we've never seen something like this before. We've never seen a distribution model like this before. And a lot of these are cosmetics. So who knows what that'll do to the price? They're higher value than normal alternatives. What will that do? Nobody knows. How many of these will end up on buy lists and how quickly? We don't really know. I don't know what people are going to do as a whole. So this could all turn, real beneficial to one group or real not. I mean, maybe there's a secret little arrangement for Wizards to send like 1,000 of these to, Channel Fireball or something. I wouldn't be that surprised. But with the knowledge that we have for sure, for certain today, and based on the past, I would say that this is going to be really bad. A very, very bad product that only briefly and temporarily helps people build a deck for cheaper, but then damages the whole market as a whole. Like I said, the alternative is not to just let prices go up, 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 up. It's to print master sets and then give the master sets to the, to the stores and the single sellers. That was a perfect system. They need to bring it back. The only flaw was not putting enough good cards in the master sets and giving way too many of them to certain sellers that sell them for $1 profit online. Nobody can compete with that, and that was just killing the price of the singles. So they need to bring masters back, put enough value in it, and be very careful about how they sell it and who they give it to and how much. Plus, I mean, look at the volume of very expensive cards in Ultimate Masters versus the volume of expensive cards that needed reprints in every single one of these Secret Lair products. This is like, at best, 1/10 of a master set, probably 1/20th. So in the grand scheme of things, it's nothing. Remember, Modern Horizons isn't a reprint set either. Conspiracy was a lot of new cards with a couple money reprints just to prop up the value. Unsets were nothing. 0 reprints, so you can't reprint almost anything good from Modern and Standard. So in the next 5 years, I'm curious, where are these reprints going to come from? The reprints that we need to make Modern not cost $2,000 a deck instead of $1,000 a deck, because that's exactly where we're heading without master sets. And I know somebody's about to say, oh, but what about that stupid Chaos Draft set thing? Yeah, 1,700 or so unique cards. That's not a reprint. There's not enough of those going around. Yeah, they got stacked value, cool, but like a couple individual 1,000 versions of a card going out onto the market is nothing. So making it that high volume, or high, what would you call it, diversity, that killed it. It's a reprint set, but we're not going to get anywhere near what the world supply needs of those cards. We need a true 250 to 300-ish card unique set, masters, traditional, make the box worth $400 on launch day, people buy it, people open it, life goes on. Modern and Commander get cheaper, everybody finishes their decks, the stores make a fortune on it sealed, everybody's happy. We need to go back to that. Secret Lair product is just bullshit. I honestly think they really shouldn't have done it. It's not like there aren't benefits, it's just the harm is worse. So hopefully you understand why that is from this video. If you did, leave a big ol' thumbs up on it. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next video.